I need to find a better way to do these intros. Hello, welcome back to another Singapore living video. I've got like 9 days left in Singapore, so I'm trying to like pump out as many like Singapore related videos while I can while I'm still here. Not too long ago I made a video called Top 8 Most Surprisingly Expensive Foods in Singapore, and everybody got very offended that I made a mistake in like the very first one. I don't know. I don't think people got offended, but everybody felt the need to correct me on the internet. So it wasn't the driver's license itself that's very expensive, it's the certificate of entitlement that you need to buy a car that's very expensive. Sorry, internet, I made that mistake. Actually, you could also argue that getting a driver's license is very expensive in Singapore because I got mine in Australia for no more than $200, so. Anyway, that kind of only made sense if you watched that video. Moving on. So today I thought I'd make a video about surprisingly cheap things in Singapore. I think there's a huge misconception that when you come to Singapore, you're just going to be spending lots of money, which I guess if you're a tourist and you're only here for a little bit, can be very expensive. But if you're living here, you can live very, very cheaply. It just depends on where you shop and what you choose to spend your money on. So here is my list of top 10. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, there's only 9. Let's make it 8. Sorry, Tesco, you're gone. First one on the list, one that was very surprising, and I noticed it from day one, that is taxis and Ubers. Crazy, crazy cheap. Not like crazy cheap. It's not like Thailand cheap, but it's not what I was expecting at all. So if in Australia, if I catch a taxi for, let's say, half an hour's ride, it's probably gonna cost me about like $30. I don't really know though, I don't catch taxis in Australia for that reason because it's so expensive. But in Singapore, you can probably ride in a taxi for about half an hour. It may cost you $15, something like that. Obviously depends like the time of day. There was one time I arrived back in Singapore and I got an Uber pool from the airport. And because it was from the airport, like everyone who was riding with me were all getting picked up from the same spots. We all went in at the same time. It took me all the way to Clementi, which is literally the other side of the country. It was like 45 minutes in the taxi and it cost me $10. And I was the first person they dropped off as well. That was like the best Uber ride I've ever been in. They've also got Grab, which is another ride sharing app. Then if one price is surging on Uber, then you can check on Grab and blah, blah, blah. So there's lots of options like that and it's really great. Number 2 that's really cheap in Singapore is kind of also related to public transport, and that's buses and trains. Very, very, very cheap. It hardly ever costs me more than $1.60 to get anywhere on a bus. I'll catch buses like across the entire country and it'll be like $1.80, something like that. There's no like cover charge on like every single one. So if you jump on like 20 different trains or buses or trains or whatever, it only costs you for that distance. So if you're just going like one stop on the bus, it'll literally cost you 20 cents. It's amazing. Australia, crazy expensive for public transport. It's just, I never catch it because it's so expensive. Everyone just drives everywhere, so good job, government. Anyway, the next thing on the list is Oreos. It's a weird one to put on the list, but Oreos are just surprising, you know? They're surprisingly cheap. You can buy like a roll of Oreos and it's like $1.50. Wasn't expecting that, especially because to me Oreos seems like a Western brand, but it's still quite cheap. Some people have said that Oreos taste different in Singapore than they do elsewhere, but I don't see a difference. Next one on the list, cans of Coke, or even just like bottles of Coke. If you go to like a grocery store, like 7-Eleven, stuff like that, you usually buy a bottle of Coke for like $1.65-ish, or $1 for a can of Coke. There used to be like a vending machine right near Universal that has like Coke Zero, and it was like 90 cents a can, and I bought one every day, possibly 2, who knows. Another one is going to the movies. Surprisingly cheap. I wasn't expecting that. Movies in Australia cost you like 20 bucks nowadays. It's crazy, crazy. I hate it, makes me mad. But in Singapore, movies only cost I think like $8.50, something like that. Very, very cheap. It's not bad. It's good because it means you can still get like cheap entertainment in Singapore, which is really nice. Another cheap entertainment, which is next on the list, is bowling. Very, very cheap. I can't remember exactly the prices. I probably should have Googled this, actually. I will Google this because I know someone's gonna be like, Hannah, why don't you just Google it? For example, first one on my list, Toa Payoh. I'm gonna pronounce that all wrong. Costs $5 for bowling. $5. I don't know, I don't go bowling much, but like in Australia, I feel like it costs a lot more than that. The next one on my list is kopi, or coffee for Australians. So kopi and coffee, like kopi is coffee, but coffee is not kopi. Now it's confusing, I shouldn't have said that. So coffee is like the Singaporean version, like the locals version of coffee, I guess. When I first ever tried it, like I just got like black coffee, because I usually drink it black. And I looked in the cup and I was like, holy crap, that is black. It's like the blackest coffee you could imagine. Like you put the spoon in to the cup and it just disappears instantly. It's so dark. I don't even know why it's so dark, but it doesn't have a really, really strong taste. It actually isn't very acidic-y at all, so I find it very easy to drink it black. But yeah, I quite like it, and it'll only cost you like $1.50 a cup, which is really good considering you get like, if you go to Starbucks, you get a small coffee for like $5 or something like that. And it doesn't even taste that good because it's Starbucks. So yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. You can also get coffee with sweetened condensed milk in it, which I think is really yummy, but I don't do it very much. Actually, I never do it. What am I talking about? Or you can get it with milk and sugar, or milk and condensed milk, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's really cheap, so that's good. If you like can't live without your coffee in the morning, there's a cheap way to do it, which is nice. The next and the last one on my list is fruit and vegetables. I am personally so happy that fruit and vegetables are really cheap in Singapore, because it makes up like 90% of my groceries when I go to the store. They're often really, really cheap. I can't tell you like exactly how much things are, but I can usually do like a week's worth of fruit and veggie shopping for like under $30. It's that cheap. It's really, really good. The things that will cost you lots of money are the things that are packaged and things like that. But fruit and vegetables are really cheap, as well as especially like tropical fruit, like star fruit, passion fruit, dragon fruit, like pineapple, papaya, all of that, like the best fruits in the world. They're so cheap, and they're like always in season in Singapore because they import them from wherever, and they're delicious. It's really good. If you go to like a fruit market that's probably like attached to a hawker center, like a local food center, you can buy like whole entire papayas or pineapples for like $1, $2, like bags of mangoes for $2. It's really, really good, and I love it. Actually, Australia is quite cheap for fruit and vegetables most of the time, but like Japan, for example, because they don't have a lot of fruit and vegetables growing in Japan, I don't think. They have to import a lot of them, and it's just so expensive. Oh. So yeah, that's my list of very surprisingly cheap things that you can buy in Singapore. I hope that you've enjoyed this list, and I hope that it's helped a couple of you, because I think lots of people think that as soon as you move to Singapore, you're going to be spending lots and lots of money, and you definitely can. It's very easy to spend lots of money, but you can do it cheaply, and I know cheap because I'm a very cheap person. I found it actually quite easy to save money in Singapore. So there's definitely ways that you can do Singapore on a budget, and I hope this has helped you with a couple of things. So yeah. I think that's all I had to say. Thank you for watching. I hope that you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if it's helped you in any way, that would be cool. Let me know. And if you want to see more stuff like this, I've got a few more Singapore living videos coming out, as well as a big announcement video, and a couple of other like vlogs and travel kinds of things coming out soon, so that's really exciting. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see any of that stuff. I know I've been so awkward today. Oh. Okay, yeah, bye. Oh, why am I so awkward today? What? A credits without a drone shot? Hannah, how are you going to get subscribers without a drone shot? Ah, that's better. Yes, much better.